You are the attorney representing Abby in her ongoing lawsuit against Fox News.
Yes.
I think there's some mistake to think that these matters are closed, but they're not at all.
Not at all closed. Abby has two lawsuits, one in Delaware, where she is essentially alleging that there was a civil conspiracy to throw her under the bus, get her to testify falsely, to cover up Fox's misdoings in that case. And that case is ongoing in Delaware. And then she has a case in the Southern District of New York, which is a very unique, even for me, who's been doing this for 30 years, practicing employment discrimination law, a uniquely strong case alleging gender discrimination, glass ceiling discrimination, failure to promote. She didn't get an executive producer spot, although she was a one-woman show along with Maria Bartiromo. And then ultimately was replaced by a man. And then even worse, jumped out of the frying pan into the fire and went to the Tucker Carlson show, where she was subjected to one of the most vile, toxic work environments I've seen in my 30 years of practice.
I've heard some of what, and I've read some of what you and she are alleging, and I want to deal with all of the second, but let's deal with the first one first. Is it a crime to not comply with discovery?
It's not a crime, but it's a serious offense, both for a litigant and for an attorney, probably even more serious for an attorney. And I have to say, I'm shocked at the conduct that went on here. I mean, as I said, I've been practicing a long time. I don't have to say it. You can just look at my face. But I've prepped a lot of witnesses. I'll give you a confession since we're both Greek. I used to be on the other side and do defense work early in my career. So I've prepped witnesses on both sides of the fence.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong as an attorney. I mean, what you're supposed to do is marshal the evidence in favor of your client. You're supposed to, Lego build the wall of either prosecution or defense in order to make your case. That's different from actually denying the evidence, actually affirmatively coaching your client to perjure themselves. The client you're supposed to be protecting as a matter of professional responsibility. And that's what they did to Abby Grossberg. So that's way off the charts. And then to stand up in open court and to actually continue to lie, which I guess, sometimes they say you can see a dog looks like its master. I guess, the Fox attorneys look like Fox. They trade in lies. They just aren't, the truth is unimportant to them. So for them to stand up in court, and after they're excoriated by the judge in Delaware saying to them, you can't say that, as they represented in discovery, that Rupert Murdoch is not somehow in charge of Fox News, and therefore you didn't have to produce all this evidence, which they ultimately had to produce. So the judge yells at them. This is like the Wednesday before the case actually is supposed to go to trial and settles. So he yells at them for like an hour, and then he finishes that. And then one of the attorneys stands up, and they start to deal with the Abby Grossberg's evidence that she presented in that case that was pretty significant. And the Fox attorney says, oh, no. She never told us about those tapes. I mean, we never knew about them at all. And Abby will, swear on a stack of Bibles she has already that she told them very clearly that she had those tapes, and she turned them over. And we find, digging through all this stuff without getting into the weeds too much, that they clearly knew, and they clearly held the evidence back because they wanted strategic advantage and broke the rules.
Let's just talk about where the evidence was. So the recordings that got the judge so angry were recordings she made working with Maria on a weekend program. And she sits with the Fox lawyers and tells them about this program where she's recorded pre-interviews.
Right.
People do them all the time. I'm sure my team did one with you.
Right. Yes.
And then she does what? She gives her phones to the lawyers, right? And then what is the normal practice? She's told them about her practice. She's told them where the recordings are, and she's turned over her phone. What should Fox have done?
They should have listened to the recordings and determined whether they were relevant to the outstanding requests for discovery by Dominion. And then they should have produced them, or at the very least, because I think on one of them there was an issue of reporter's privilege, they should have produced them on a privilege log. They didn't say anything about anything until we filed our complaint in the Delaware court and put in an, I don't want to get into the weeds, but put in a corrected errata sheet. So
right, her depo gets corrected.
So, because one step back, she gives a deposition after they basically coach her and intimidate her, and they throw her in the. There's like 4 attorneys spent 4 days with her. You never spend 4 days with a witness. Yeah, I mean, it's just ridiculous. Anyway, so she goes in for her deposition, gives her deposition. What's supposed to happen after that is under Delaware law, you're supposed to get a transcript of your deposition so you can read it and make sure it's correct, that you didn't say anything that you didn't mean to say, nothing was mistranscribed, etc. 5.5 months later, only after I start to represent her, and we've asked about, I don't know, 6, 7 times, does she get her deposition transcript?
Why?
I've said on other shows, I don't spend any time trying to read Fox's mind.
Well, I want to know if you think she's the only person who told Fox's lawyers where there were recordings and potential evidence that they didn't then, when they were handed that Fox employee's phone, go download and turn over to Dominion as part of discovery.
For a fact, I can only talk about Abby's experience. I will tell you that I have had conversations with others close into that litigation, because remember, we weren't technically in that litigation. We had our own case, but at least the pattern of incomplete and obviously coached answers and depositions was not just observed in Abby's deposition. Let's
talk about the workplace. So she works for Maria. That's where some of these recordings are made. But she's at Tucker Carlson most recently. Tell me what that was like for Abby.
I'll just take one step back and explain why she went from Maria to a Tucker show. You know, she had 2.5 years with Maria, and she's often said Maria was an idol for her. She used to watch her on CNBC, and Maria was a trailblazer. I think she was the first woman on the floor of the stock exchange. She was a respected journalist. So when Fox came and heavily recruited Abby, who was at CBS Evening News at the time, she didn't go right away. She had an opportunity for a few other shows, and finally, when the Maria opportunity came up, she went because she thought it would be great. And she quickly found out that it was really Maria and Abby, and these two women in this highly chauvinistic, horrible place. I mean, she was there for 1 week before one of the senior producers said to Abby, "Oh, Maria, you have to tell us everything she does. She's menopausal. She's crazy, And then afterwards, when they saw the two of them together, after maybe like a year, then a lot of the male executives started to just ignore them and wouldn't give them credit. Like I think Abby told me a story about. She was the first. They were the first to have Trump on after he lost the election. Huge get, right? And in some discussion with one of the senior producers, I think it was David Clark, who's her supervisor, he characterized that as just silly weekend fluff. So that was the kind of attitude that they were up against. And eventually that led to Abby not being given the executive producer title, although she was the only one working on the show with Maria, and it was the #1 rated show, I think, on the weekends in general, not just Fox. So she figures out this is not going to work for me. She's also feeling kind of, queasy about Maria's at that point, buy-in into the big lie, and she's trying to push back. Abby is trying to sort of get some informed objectivity in the room.
Does Abby believe Joe Biden won the election?
Oh yeah.
When does she come to believe that?
Well, she started to have suspicions about the big lie probably a week or two in, right?
So she entertains the conspiracy things for about a week, and then she has.
Right, and then she's doing her job, and she's trying because she's the producer.
I get it.
She has to.
But I think Maria still does. So I'm just trying to figure out when.
I mean, we can't read Maria's mind, but that's what it seems like. And Abby feels, I've spoken to her about this a lot. I mean, she said to me, first of all, hypothetically, she said to me, because I can't say anything she told me, because then we would lose all attorney-client privilege. But she might say something to me like, the only thing I have to hide is that I believe that for a week. That's what embarrasses me. I mean, so you get the fact that she's really, at this point, feeling,
like now that she's in your hands, she's your client, she's trying to sort of correct the record. She's worried that might be a vulnerability?
Well, I think you just, it's human nature. You just feel
public perception.
stupid when you do something.
I get that.